Hello everybody, welcome back for another stud ride. It's going to be stud ride number 33. And we're taking this one off of those classic Gulf Coast TV shows that we have, and I don't think you'll find those anywhere else out there on any other channel. This one is it's with a real good friend of mine. Last time I saw him was in 1973, though, and he's Chief Danny Bear, Danny Little Bear. And wow, great wrestler, really very talented wrestler. And Little Bear is in this match with a guy called Big Bad Luke Brown. I think he introduced him from Hazard, Kentucky. Kind of strange, this was down in Mobile. This was produced in Mobile. I'm pretty sure this was probably back in at least the 70s. And maybe even back into the 60s. These are real classic shows and real good quality for as far back as they are. And I gotta say, this match, wow, these boys get it on, man. I mean, they really get into a bad thing here, and it's kind of a darn good match. And so let's take a look at this. This is number 33. Take a little ride in this one. And this is Mobile, Alabama, somewhere back in the late 60s, early 70s.
Brown on Danny Little Bear. And Luke Brown tells Speedy Hatfield that Little Bear was holding on. A foot to the midsection and a fist to the face. Another foot to the midsection and a fist to the side of the head. An elbow to the top of the head of Danny Little Bear as Luke Brown charges in and continues to work on the man with that elbow smash to the top of the head. Little Bear is down. The ring official comes in and breaks it up, holding the man back. Danny's down on one knee. Here is a knee to the side of the head, a foot to the head, another foot to the head of Danny Little Bear by Big Bad Luke Brown. Luke Brown is working on Danny Little Bear. Another foot to the head, picking the man up by the hair. Another foot to the head, another foot to the head, another one by Luke Brown, and he draws another severe reprimand from the ring official, Speedy Hatfield. Danny Little Bear picked up by the hair of the head by Luke Brown, and a big fist by Luke to the face of Danny Little Bear. Here's another one, and Danny Little Bear is down. Picking the man up. He whips him into the ropes, and Danny Little Bear is bleeding profusely from all the kicks and stomps to the head by Luke Brown. Danny in a bear hug. He's got Danny Little Bear in a bear hug. Really applying the pressure now is Big Bad Luke Brown. He has got a bear hug on Danny Little Bear, and the official Speedy Hatfield is right there to see if Little Bear submits to the pressure being applied to him now by Big Bad Luke Brown. Luke Brown putting the pressure on him. Danny Little Bear bleeding profusely from his forehead and head, where he has been stomped and beaten unmercifully by Luke Brown. Luke Brown now putting the pressure on the man with this bear hug. Little Bear will not give up. Little Bear will not submit. Little Bear will not submit. He continues to put the pressure on the man. He continues to apply the pressure to the man. He continues to apply the pressure to the man, and Danny Little Bear will not submit. Little Bear will not submit to this tremendous pressure, and Luke Brown goes to work on him again. Speedy Hatfield right there asking the man if he submits to the pressure being applied in this bear hug by Luke Brown. Danny Little Bear trying to come out of it, and he lets Luke Brown have one. But he has taken tremendous punishment. He's in a very weakened condition, having the circulation cut off. Bleeding profusely from the forehead now, and Luke Brown goes to work on the man again with a kick to the midsection, a stomp to the head of Danny Little Bear. Luke Brown with another foot to the face of Danny Little Bear. Another foot to the head. Luke Brown working on Danny Little Bear. Picking the man up. He whips him into the ropes, and Danny Little Bear comes off the ropes with a big leg lift. He hits the man in the face and in the chest, and Luke Brown is down. Here is another one by Danny Little Bear on Luke Brown. rolling the man over. Danny Little Bear continues to work on him. Luke Brown and Danny Little Bear. Danny Little Bear, and I can't tell if Luke Brown is bleeding or if that's Danny Little Bear's blood on him. He pushes Speedy Hatfield out of the way, and he goes to work on Luke Brown, picking the man up by the hair. Another big fist. This is Luke Brown, also bleeding. Luke Brown also bleeding as Danny Little Bear has serviced him. Here's another fist to the forehead of Luke Brown, and Danny Little Bear shakes his fist. A blow to the midsection. Both men are bleeding profusely in the ring now. And here is a big war whoop from Luke Brown, and he and Danny Little Bear are standing there having a slugfest. Luke Brown starts in on the man again. Danny Little Bear lets him have it. Danny Little Bear and Luke Brown. Speedy Hatfield gets pushed out of the way by Luke Brown, and he calls for the bell. He calls for the bell. He has stopped the match. He has stopped the match between Danny Little Bear and Luke Brown, and they are still going at it. Both men bleeding profusely. Luke Brown leaves the ring. Luke Brown leaves the ring. Danny Little Bear still in the ring, calling for the man to come in. Luke Brown trying to bring a chair into the ring. He draws a reprimand from Speedy Hatfield. Danny invites him to come on in. Chair and all. Luke Brown and Danny Little Bear. What a tremendous battle this has been.
Wow, that was good. It really takes me back, you know. I got a little story here. I think I'm going to throw it in. I hope you don't mind. But it was one of the last days that we spent in Australia together, me and Danny Little Bear, and gosh, there was a great crew there during that time frame. The future Austin Idol, whose name was Mike McCord, and a bunch of Bill Dundee that ended up living in America. But I talked Danny Little Bear to going to the beach with me in Perth, Australia. The tour was just about over, and we went to the most beautiful beach. It was called Scarborough. It was fantastic. We sat down on it. Was not a person there except for an old man who we saw, and he saw us go out, and we were body surfing. And Danny had never been body surfing before, and I tried to teach him how to do it. And so this old guy came down, and he crossed his legs, and he sat there, and he watched us body surf for about 30 minutes. And so when we came in, I said, hey, how you doing? And he goes, I'm doing good, mate. And he goes, he says, I was just sitting here watching you boys. He said, a fortnight ago, he says, a big white came in right out there where you boys were, and he swallowed the fella. And I said, no. I said, you mean he bit him? And he goes, oh, no, mate, he swallowed him out. And so Danny's standing there, and he goes, he did what? And he said, he swallowed the fella whole. The shark did. And so we started on to the motel, and Danny never shut up. Ron, you idiot, you've been doing this every day. We've been in this country. He goes, you're not scared that you're going to get eat? I said, well, we're almost going home, Danny. I said, I think I'm going to make it. I'm not planning on having but a couple more opportunities to hit the water. So anyway, Danny was a great guy. And in that, you get an idea of he was a pretty tough son of a gun. He had a lot of heart. And so I hope you enjoyed that one. It's, as I said, it comes from the old Gulf Coast territory, man. Long time back. And if you're looking for the long ride, and you see these, I think there's 12 volumes of them from the old Gulf Coast territories. And that's, you can find it at ClassicContinentalWrestling.com. It's $4.99 a month or $39.99 if you want to pay it annually. And they've got some great stuff on there, just like everything else that's on the ClassicContinentalWrestling.com streaming channel. There's some fantastic stuff on there now. And thank you all so much. And and we're going to take another ride. We're going to bring you another one.